Ed Sheeran's journey, a tale of fame, betrayal, and resilience. Taylor Swift cursed Ed Sheeran, "You won't see good ever." Ed Sheeran had abruptly left the music industry, running for his life cause of Diddy and Taylor Swift. A mysterious tweet appeared online, claiming that Ed, distraught and exhausted, had vanished without a trace. Panic spread among his fans, with some fearing the worst. What happened to Ed, people questioned, as hashtags like #FindEd trended worldwide. His sudden disappearance sparked endless speculation. Could it be that fame had finally consumed one of the most beloved artists of our time? The frenzy intensified when a close source revealed that Ed had been involved in a dramatic fallout with his longtime friend and mentor, Taylor Swift. The public's shock deepened as Taylor had always been Ed's biggest supporter. The internet lit up with stories of betrayal, contracts, and a night of reckoning that changed everything. Was this the end of Ed Sheeran's music career as we knew it? But then, the truth began to emerge. No, Ed hadn't disappeared. No, there was no catastrophic end to his career. Instead, what had unfolded was a story of immense tension, unexpected decisions, and a journey that tested Ed Sheeran in ways he never anticipated, starting at one of the most glamorous parties in Hollywood, hosted by none other than P. Diddy. It was at this exclusive party, a gathering of music industry giants, that Ed Sheeran found himself thrust into a world of power, pressure, and difficult choices. Riding high on the wave of his recent success, with Taylor Swift by his side as both a friend and mentor, Ed was introduced to the elites of the industry. The excitement was palpable, the energy electric. Ed could feel the eyes of everyone in the room on him, watching, expecting, hoping. In the middle of it all stood Diddy, a towering figure of influence and ambition. As Ed navigated the party, Diddy approached him, his intentions unclear but his words carrying weight. Diddy, known for his keen business acumen, began discussing the possibility of a collaboration, an offer that seemed too good to be true. But then, the conversation took a darker turn. The terms of the deal started to emerge, terms that would leave Ed feeling more like a pawn than a partner. Diddy's words, though carefully delivered, were laced with a warning. He made it clear that in his world, nothing came for free. The percentage Diddy casually mentioned in passing was more than just numbers, it represented a slice of Ed's artistic freedom. Ed's excitement quickly turned into unease, the weight of the decision pressing down on him. With the eyes of powerful figures in the room, and the momentum of his career on the line, Ed felt cornered. Taylor had opened the door to this world, but now, here he was, facing a choice that could define his future. As the night wore on, the pressure mounted. Other celebrities chimed in, pushing Ed toward signing the contract. "You have to do this, Ed. It's a game changer," they urged, their voices filled with excitement, but to Ed, it felt like the walls were closing in. The laughter, the music, the lights, all became part of a swirling chaos as Ed wrestled with the decision before him. The moment of truth came when, fueled by the adrenaline of the night, and perhaps a little too much to drink, Ed signed the contract. It wasn't until the next morning, in the cold light of day, that he realized what he had done. The excitement of the party faded, replaced by a deep sense of regret. The contract he had signed wasn't just a business deal, it felt like a trap. The promises of opportunity now felt like obligations that stifled his creativity and drained his joy. For Ed, this marked the beginning of a difficult chapter. The once bright path to success now seemed filled with shadows. He felt a growing sense of betrayal, not just from the industry, but from Taylor herself. Had she known this would happen? Was she part of the reason he had found himself entangled in this mess? The questions gnawed at him, adding to the weight he already carried. Yet, in the midst of this turmoil, Ed Sheeran found strength. The same vulnerability that had made him a beloved artist now became his source of power. Instead of succumbing to the pressures of fame, Ed turned to the one thing he knew he could trust, his music. It was in the quiet moments, away from the glamour and the noise, that he began to write again. But this time, the songs were different. They carried the weight of his experiences, the rawness of his emotions, and the pain of his journey. Fans began to notice the shift in his music. The once light-hearted and joyful tunes were now laced with a deeper intensity. The lyrics spoke of struggle, identity, and the search for authenticity in a world that often demanded conformity. Ed's voice, always soulful, now carried a new edge, a reflection of the internal battles he had fought and won. Through it all, Ed never lost sight of who he was at his core. While the industry tried to mold him into something he wasn't, Ed fought to remain true to himself. He refused to let one night, one contract, or one mistake define his entire career. Instead, he used the lessons he had learned to reclaim his narrative, to tell his story on his own terms. And what a story it was! Ed Sheeran emerged from that fateful night stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. He had seen the darker side of fame, but he had also discovered a resilience within himself that he hadn't known existed. Taylor Swift, while pivotal in introducing him to the world of fame, was just one chapter in a much larger story, his story. In the end, Ed Sheeran's journey is not one of defeat but of triumph. It's a story of navigating the highs and lows of an industry that can be both exhilarating and unforgiving. It's a story of friendship, betrayal, and ultimately, redemption. Ed didn't just survive the pressures of fame, he thrived, turning his challenges into some of the most poignant and powerful music of his career. So, the next time you hear an Ed Sheeran song, remember the story behind it. It's not just a melody, it's a reflection of a man who faced the toughest decisions of his life, and came out the other side with his head held high.